Ignorance is not Jamaican culture. Because the way that we are behaving and the things that we say about ourselves and the way that we want people to think about us would lead people to believe that Jamaica is a place of ignorance.
There is a Jamaican lady here who have decided to school all Jamaicans, to school her on. And it's a good message, by the way. The things he has talked on this video is something that we cannot ignore. Not all Jamaicans, but most of them, and some, not most of them, some of them, we can't ignore. We have to take lessons. So I want you to listen to this video and tell me if she's right. Because I've seen in the comment section, most Jamaicans have said, yeah, it's true. Watch this video and then we're going to react about it.
Greetings and salutations. It's Carla from Mortalk JA. And a little stuffy. I apologize for that. And a semester kind of come and just smash up my body. But I've just had to encounter my second fight in a 24-hour period. So it leads me to think that this is something urgent, critical that needs to be said. Jamaican people, ignorance is not your culture. I will say it again. Ignorance is not Jamaican culture. Because the way that we are behaving and the things that we say about ourselves and the way that we want people to think about us would lead people to believe that Jamaica is a place of ignorance. It is not. And when I say ignorant, I don't mean ignorant just in terms of not knowing things. Although that is a part of what we do. Jamaican people, we don't know nothing about that. We know in that, we know in that, so we don't know nothing about that. Knowing about something does not mean that you condone it. It just means that you're aware of it. Ignorance is not the defining feature here. But when I say ignorant in this instance, what I'm actually talking about is ignorant like you can't reason with them. When I say somebody ignorant, them ignorant like them head chip out, them head gone, them head fly away, them dark out, I'll let them something there. We have come to believe that somehow being able to get that place to where you're dark out and nobody can reason with you is the hallmark of Jamaicanness. It is not. We have taken it so seriously that now we're engaged in what I call competitive ignorance, which is a situation where if you go for a knife, me have to go for a gun. If you tell me about my mother, me have to dip up under the whole of your family. There is no hope for de-escalating a situation because the second one person go yes, so the other person have to go higher. And the person who can get to the point where them dark out and just walk and look for things to kill people, the one who get to the point where them want to draw blood first, that is somehow the victor. You are not the victor. You are a victim. You are a victim of years of social conditioning on a plantation that has told you that a black person is a beast, that a black person is primitive, that a black person is somehow less rational, less reasoning than anybody else, that a black person is basically a wild animal. And so you function the way that wild animals do. And I find it interesting that for a set of people who are so into fighting down Babylon system and so no one nobody control them and no one white people tell them what to do, you have become the most effective functioning arm of that white plantation mentality because you are doing that work to kill off black people where white people cannot do it anymore. You need to stop. We are very much concerned with the idea of honor and respect here in Jamaica, right? We don't want anybody this way. I can usually tell when an argument between Jamaicans is about to go completely ridiculous when one person starts to say that other person has style them. Style, you try style me not. This, you try this, me not. You try to take me for boy, and you try to take me for double, but all of them type of something there. The second that we feel that our honor has somehow been besmirched, we have to do anything that is necessary to return it. And I wonder if it is that we have some medieval relics running around in terms of our psyche, because only in a medieval time, you know, when somebody somehow disrespect you or them go against your honor, then you have to go into like a jousting match with them or you have to take out the long sword and come after them. This is not medieval times, right? And I never feel we issue that, so can we please get that out of our mind? I am sick and tired of us killing and shooting and beating and fighting and arguing and everything in each other over some idea of disrespect that has not taken place. Jamaican people, I need for you to learn how to separate your emotions. Disappointment is not disrespect. Sadness is not disrespect. Confusion is not disrespect. Feeling inadequate is not disrespect. None of these things are disrespect. But you treat them that way. A woman leaves her partner. Try style me. No, she just doesn't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. You ask somebody for money and they respectfully tell you no, they don't have any money. Try style me. You think man a beggar? No, I don't think you're a beggar. I think you have some money and I don't have any. That whole thing about being a beggar, those are your issues that you're taking out on me. Somebody gives you a job to do and you're not able to figure out how to do it. Style man, try style man. Give man foolishness to do. No, it's not foolishness to do. You just don't understand it. All of these are separate emotions and none of them imply that you have been disrespected. But the second, that you essentialize every emotion you have that doesn't feel positive down to disrespect, then you are making it okay for you to react with violence to almost anything that happens to you. We have to stop it. I get it. We are the product of a violent encounter between indigenous people, African people, and European people. So we have colonial violence, cycles of it, economic violence, the poverty here, the mess that is some parts of the education system, the gender-based violence that is happening here over and over and over again, right? Racist violence that is happening here, classist violence that is happening here, all type of different violence that is happening here. That is the little stew in which we come up. And we have a chip on our shoulders. We're not the richest country. We're not the poorest country either. We're not the richest country. Plenty of places we can't go there because they have visa restriction upon we. We feel like we're less than a lot of places. And we turn that into our national personality and we walk around with it all day and expect that people are somehow going to accommodate it. Not only do we expect that people are going to accommodate it, we take it out on each other as though that's the norm. That's not the norm. That type of violence is not the norm, and it's not something that any of us should have to deal with on any daily basis. We need to heal from that violence so we can get to the place that we can function like normal people. Because I'm interested in coloniality and how colonial project continues in today, I cannot ignore the fact that a lot of these killings, woundings are being done to black people. Now people might say, well, Jamaica has a majority black population, so blah, 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 blah. They're more likely to happen to black people. They're more likely to happen to black people of a particular class. Between black people of a particular class in Jamaica. We're much less likely to try and hype upon white people or Indian people or Chinese people, which is not to say that they don't experience their own type of violence, because we know that there is a way that we love tech set upon the merchant class, people who own wholesale, people who own businesses, will up go them house and kill them off, all of them type of something there. So clearly there is a particular type of violence that they're experiencing. But this thing where an argument over $50 turns into one man getting shot in the head back, that type of thing is more likely to happen between black people. And so I cannot ignore the fact that once again we have really taken that training on the plantation that tells us that black people are killable, that you can exterminate them, that if they offend you, you can remove them from the face of the earth because they're really not as valuable as anybody else. Anyway, one black life is not really equal to any other life, so do what you want to do. Now, these things are running around inside of us. We've been programmed that way. We've been actually actively trained into that type of belief system. And I need for us to stop and take a look at it, because this is where we are. There was what, a 24-hour period the other day where there were 15 people murdered in St. James alone, right? If you want to look at it from the aspect of gender-based violence, there have been what, like 6 women killed in the past week by their male partners or exes. And it's not that this is on the rise, it's just that we're paying attention to it, because this is something that has been happening for a long time. And so we need to get serious, because this is not what I plan to leave for my children or my nieces or my nephews. This is not where I plan to live. And I'm sick of the idea that if I want to have a good life, I have to leave Jamaica. And honestly, the only thing that's standing between me and a good life in Jamaica is some of you Jamaicans, including those in government, yes. But those of you who are walking around every day with your anti-black self-hatred, killing off everybody around you. It has to stop. Being ignorant is not being Jamaican. Being ignorant is the pathology of whiteness that has been passed down to you as a black person that you are acting out every day. Being violent does not somehow make you valuable. Being hurt and wounded from years of oppression does not give you the right to take that out on everybody else. And at some point it becomes your responsibility to heal from that so people can actually deal with you. Don't tell me say you're dark out. Don't tell me say I've just say you stay. Don't tell me say such Jamaican people turn, because I'm standing here as a born and bred Jamaican and I am not that way. Get your act together. That's a human life you're dealing with. You need to have respect for it. Not because it's a black person, not because it's a poor black person. You don't get to kill somebody just because you're dark out, and that will not be the thing that my country is remembered by. Now, this is not my post about life in leggings. Everybody does need to go and check out that hashtag, especially in the light of the fact that like 6 Jamaican women have been killed by their partners in the past week. That's a different post that I'm going to do. Violence is not our culture. Stop using culture to explain all of the bad things that you do. Violence is not your culture. It never has been. Violence is something that is a part of your culture, but violence is not the thing that defines you. You're a big somebody. Take responsibility for yourself. Think better, be more responsible, and overall just be a better human. Because if there's one thing that I know Jamaicans are supposed to be, is we're supposed to be decent people.
Welcome back. Now, on this video, this Jamaican lady has talked about ignorance, and she has told Jamaicans that ignorance is not a Jamaican culture. And come to think of it, it's a good lesson. It depends which angle you are taking this topic from, and it's a lesson that everyone have to learn about it. Every black people have to learn and understand this one. This message have to go to Nigerians. This message have to go to Ghanaians, South Africans, Somalians, you know, a lot of countries, black countries, because I've seen white people, most of them saying that black people are not civilized because we love violence. They talk much about violence in black culture. Now they take violence as our culture. And this lady was speaking to Jamaicans because she's from Jamaica. She talked something about violence in Jamaica. She talked about class difference. She talked about gender-based violence. She talked about ignorance. She talked about honor and respect. According to her, she's saying that a lot of Jamaicans does not honor or respect each other. And I don't know if it's true. I want you to tell me in the comment section. I'm just reacting. Don't crucify me. I'm reacting on this video. And I have met a lot of Jamaicans, but there is a lot I haven't seen a lot from them, the negative side. Most of them, what I know from Jamaicans, I know they are loud maybe, but I have not interacted with them at a personal level at their country or somewhere we have lived for more than 1 day, 2 days, so that I can learn someone. But she has talked about ignorance, and she has insisted on ignorance is not a Jamaican culture. And if I talk about ignorance, I'm gonna link it with the, even she has linked it with the time of colonial, maybe when Jamaicans were farmers were working on the sugarcane farms. And ignorance is something that led to many people, or many African countries, or many black countries, or many Caribbean countries not to attain their freedom that easily because of ignorance. You know, when you learn something, you have to learn something, think about it, sit down on it, and, you know, and come up with a good decision. But when you are ignorant, you ignore things, you ignore the red flags and everything. She has talked a lot. I know you have heard her on that topic of ignorance, because I just wanna base on some features that you have said, like gender-based violence, and she has said something like violence in Jamaica. Violence is a key factor that I want to speak on, because we have heard stories about Jamaican violence, you know, violence in Jamaica. I've seen videos where brutal in the street, people are brutal, people are violent. And even the music from Jamaica, at some point I was thinking that Jamaica is all about violence and energy. I never knew about energy, but the influence of Jamaicans on Kenyans. Let me talk about Kenyans. The influence of Jamaicans on Kenyans mostly is about violence. When you see the youths who embrace Jamaican music, the youths who embrace Jamaican culture, they embrace violence. Those youths are very violent. First of all, they are on drugs, high drugs. They take bang, and they believe that Jamaica is about violence. Whenever you go on their wood, their street, whenever they call their street Portmore, there's some streets here they call Portmore. Another one they call Gaza. Another one they call Kingston. And all of them, they just think of violence. So when she talked about this thing of violence in Jamaica, I came to think of it that a lot of people think of Jamaica, they think of violence, and that is misconception that we need to do away with it. Because when we see and hear the music talks about sex life and, you know, violent life and everything. So it's something that a lot of Jamaicans need to check of it, most of them, because Jamaicans are the most influential people in the face of the world. And a lot of people are looking at Jamaica. A lot of African countries, black countries, Jamaica is their role model. So whenever a Jamaican do something, mostly these celeb ones like Vibes Cartel, Conscious, they follow. They follow. The language, the patois language, they tend to follow the language. So Jamaicans, they are most influential. Jamaicans, they are role models. So we have to check on that. And this lady said that Jamaicans are the product of violence during the colonial period. So maybe the violence transferred from one to another, all those. But that's not true. It's just how the system is of Jamaica. Tell me in the comment section, do you think violence is a problem in Jamaica? And this has made a lot of people to think black people as uncivilized people. There's a white South African who called black people uncivilized. And he was asked, why have you said they are uncivilized? He said that because they are violent. Whenever they don't know how to resolve issues, whenever there is something small, they go on the road. They cannot, we call what? This when people going to the road to demonstrate, they cannot protest or demonstrate in a civilized way. They throw stones, they burn cars, they just do violence. So a lot of people are associating black people with violence, associating Jamaica with violence, associating Haiti with violence. War everywhere. Even when you see the black countries, or when we see Africans, we see Congo, we see Rwanda, we see Sudan, we see Somalia. It's all about violence, insecurity. So for us to change from one step to another, for us to move from one step to another, we need to check on just simple things. We need to behave. We need to be knowledgeable. We need to act. We need to be without ignorant. We need to be focused. There's a lot of things we need to change so as we can get good leadership, so that we can get our good economy. Because when you are civilized, relaxed, knowledgeable, you will understand a lot of things. And when you sit down, you will know this one is good and this one is not good. When there is issue in the government, you can sit down and decide, you know what, we are not going to protest. Let's do this. Let's wait this and vote this one out. Let's choose someone who is good. But I've seen a lot of people, they want to associate with violence. Whenever someone is very violent, a politician, very loud, very violent, that's what they love. So that's the issue of violence. Violence is a bigger issue even in Africa or black community, even African American. She talked about class difference, the one who are upper classes maybe and the lower classes. There's something she said about it. I know you have heard about that on the that video. I want you to comment on that. Tell me what you think on what she said, because gender-based violence is something that a lot in black culture, you know, a woman and a man, a black woman and a black man, they can sit down and discuss and solve their issues. It's just about fighting, quarreling, and everything. So it's the things that I see. Even when I go across, you know, viral videos from Jamaica, I see a lot of, you know, and it's not about Jamaica alone. Let's call it black culture. It's something that's affecting black people. Gender-based violence. So this Jamaican lady decided to sit down and school each and every Jamaica. I don't know what you think about the video. Don't get offended. Let's take what is good for us and leave what you think is bad. But for me, I think it's a good move, or I think it's a good education. At least we're learning something. ignorance is not a culture of Jamaica. Jamaica is a very influential country and, you know, a very popular country. And when she insisted on ignorance, there is something she has seen from Jamaicans, and Jamaicans can testify on the comment section. Tell me, are Jamaica most ignorant? Do you think it's affecting the nation? Do you think it's affecting the people? I saw even some videos. Children are very vigorous. Let me say the influence of the maybe the musicians, the influence of the popular people from Jamaica. It affects a lot of people, not only Jamaica, but affects the whole Africa. It have affected Kenyan at large. Tell me in the comment section what you think about this video that we have just reacted. Until next episode, I am the Kenyan Beast. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel. You can join the membership. You can, do anything. You just support me. Until next episode, peace be with you.